Hello champions and future champions, hello ChessMood family. Gabuzyan is here with you and welcome to our daily lesson. Today we have an interesting topic to discuss. Very often out of the openings we're getting some extra material, usually capturing pawns. And for some reason chess players after that are trying to play very passive, keeping the material, which is a huge mistake. I will show you an example when white, after getting a pawn, can play very passive and can play normally trying to develop pieces in an active way. You will see the difference. Let's get started. After e4, d5, e takes d5, there is an option for black to play c6 move. Instead of capturing black tries to sacrifice another pawn, but after dc6 and knight c6, get a little better development. This is not very reasonable because pawn is more expensive and white is also not very behind. This happened to my student, and after knight f3 and e5 moves, for white, my student played with d3. This is not really reasonable. Why? To limit bishop on f1 instead of developing it to more active squares. We will see the better continuation little later. Now I will show you what happened in the game. Black, in opposite, tried to play very active. Went for f5, bishop e2 knight f6, castle and bishop d6. As you can see now, black already has some compensation. In opposite, white has very passive setup of the pieces. It was continued knight c3, castle bishop g5, and here black played h6. After exchanging on f6 square, black has a clear compensation. Now bishop pair, 2 pawns. And most importantly, white bishop on e2 is extremely passive. It's not doing anything. On top of this, it's on the way of our heavy pieces and it blocks the e file. All of this is very much wrong. Now, after e5 move, let me show you the better option. White needs to put this bishop more aggressively. And bishop b5 is a great option. We attack e5 pawn with this move, since now knight is under a pin. If now black continues pawn e4, white can pin this pawn playing queen to e2. If black now plays knight f6, they are not threatening to take, since this pin is still staying on the board. White can try to castle or playing d3 and exchanging important pawn. As well after queen e2, if black goes queen e7, this weakens control over d4 square. So now we play knight d4, using the fact this knight is under a pin, and white is again getting a nice game. We will exchange this advanced pawn with d3, or even attack it with knight c3. After bishop b5, if now black goes bishop d6, this is way different. After castle and knight g7, instead of playing d3, white can use the fact there is a pin here and play more aggressively, going for d4 move, exchanging in the center and proving the advantage of extra pawn. After something like e4, knight d4 and castle, we can take on c6, knight takes back, and knight c3. As you can see, we have a healthy extra pawn and no compensation for black. Our pieces are equally well developed. Also, after bishop b5, if black tries to use the absence of our bishop on e2 square and pins our knight with bishop g4, it's not a huge deal. We can go knight c3, knight f6, and now h3 is a nice move. If black captures on f3, we're happily taking it back and getting advantage of bishop pair as well. And after h3, if black goes bishop h5, it's absolutely fine to grab the pawn on e5. White can do it, and I will offer you to pause the video and decide how to make it. We can continue now with g4, throwing this bishop away and getting rid of the pin, and after bishop g6, capturing on e5, using our own pin on this diagonal. In this way, white's getting a nice advantage. As you can see, if we're pawn up, we can play aggressively and try to prove our advantage. Now, I will give you a test position from the same opening. After a second, it takes d5 move of white, black can try to continue knight f6, and there is such an option to play bishop b5 check, c6, d takes c6, and pawn takes back. Now we need to decide where are we going to retreat with our bishop. Which is the best square is my question, and you can share your thoughts and ideas in the comments section below. Gabuzyan was here with you. Thank you for your subscriptions, likes, and sharing this video with your friends. We appreciate it a lot. I will see you next time during our next daily lessons.